Hey, Brown Girl Banter.
Hey, Brown Girl Banter.
Hey, it's Dr. Dangerfield.
And it's Dr. Patience. Y'all know she almost said she was Dr. Lucretia, right? Everybody
Yeah,
knows
because
that.
that's who I am. I'm Dr. Lucretia. I'm Dr. Dangerfield. I'm Dr. Lucretia Dangerfield. It just depends what comes out of my mouth.
Good to see you, girl, as always.
Yeah, as always.
As always.
And it's what? This is the month of May. It seems like we have been in the house like past forever.
Girl, I have lost track. I don't even know. I do not know what today is, how many days I've been in here. It's
Right.
just par for the course now,
Yeah.
whatever.
So we know this is the month of May,
Mhm.
and this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And why would we not come on and talk about Mental Health Awareness Month as mental health professionals?
Exactly. We have to. This is our month. This is our
Yeah.
time. This is one of my favorite months, actually. So we get to talk about what we love. There's nothing better.
Yes. And before we hit record, we were just talking about how life is and how the different things that are impacting people now. Because I think initially when we started this whole quarantine, staying at home, most people probably thought, oh, it'll last for just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be back. But we're seeing more people now where I think it's hitting its um, peak when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to mental health, because how of having to stay at home, not being able to do some of your social connecting, not being able to go in office to see your therapist,
Yep.
and it's having an impact because life is different and how this and we're going to transition back into whatever the new normal is going to be. So
Mm-hmm.
some of that anxiety of what do we do now since they're talking about opening the world back up.
Exactly. I think we were seeing two type of things. If you go on your social media news feed,
Hmm.
you were seeing earlier on kind of this, what am I doing functioning in this space in
Yeah.
that, right? So that brought on anxiety. And
Hmm.
then in the middle of that, you started seeing anxiety with depression, right? So you started
Yes.
seeing some of that loss of job, loss of income, that
Hmm.
uncertainty, that fear. So it started bringing about anxiety or
Yes.
loneliness, which led to depressive states. And so you were
Hmm.
seeing a lot of that. And now that states, and cities across the country are starting to open back up,
So, yeah.
now it's switched over to, okay, wait, now I got to go back out there, right? Like, what does that look
Right.
like for me? How do I keep myself safe? How do I keep my
Yes.
parents safe, my children safe? And
And
so
everybody.
now it's just kind of depends on where we are in this pandemic that people
Hmm.
emotional and mental health has been impacted.
Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
you're seeing more people even talking about having moments where they're like, it hit me, because I've talked to a couple people and they're like, this staying in the house is getting to me now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where initially it was like, I'm enjoying this. I enjoy staying at home, working from home. But now it's like the whole loneliness, the depression, especially individuals that are don't have anyone living with them,
Mm-hmm.
that whole
Mm-hmm.
isolation piece where they were so used to getting out on a daily basis, going to work to connect with other adults, other individuals, and now they've been home for day 2011,
Right, right.
and they're like, it's only so much more I can take being at home, with myself.
Exactly. I
And then,
agree.
yeah, or they've gotten settled into that, and then they're like, okay, so now you want me to go back outside,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't even know, it's like we don't know where this came from. So, how safe is it going to be for me? How safe is it going to be for my children? How
Mm-hmm.
safe, even in the workplace, and have workplaces thought about how to transition the employees back
Mm-hmm.
to where, you used to work with your neighbor was less than 3 feet away from you. And now it's like, we need like 6 feet away.
Exactly. And, I think that what I was seeing in that transition was kind of like, okay, we were fine, right? And then
Mhm.
you started seeing like death and,
And that's, oh
sickness
yes,
and
and that is
everywhere, right?
having a major impact on
And
people.
that was really impacting people. Even me, I was like, I have to take a break from this. It was
Mhm.
overwhelming my mental self. I was just like, it is one thing to, at first you're like, oh my goodness. But then, I mean, as people were starting to die from it,
Mhm.
people you knew, it
Yeah.
really started to take its toll. And knowing that you couldn't go to the funeral or,
Funeral, right. Mhm. And
pay your
support
last
your friend,
respects.
and being
Yeah.
able to support your friends, support your
Mm.
family
Yes.
during those moments.
It was really,
Yeah.
even I had to take a step back and really
Mhm.
process my feelings and emotions around that.
Right.
And then it's kind of like, well, now, and me, you talked a lot about this, right? Like, how do I tell my children, well, we're opening back up? Let me
Mhm.
explain what that looks like for you after you've heard, your friends, your uncles, your aunts, or whoever has passed away or you've lost
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
Now you have to say, oh, but we're going to go back out now. And, this is how we're going to, getting them to even comprehend that.
Yes.
Kids, teenagers, because we barely are comprehending it as adults.
As
So
adults, right.
it's just really been eye-opening for me as a mental health
Mhm.
professional to
Yes.
see like how to communicate what everyone is kind of going through, and being empathetic to that and
Mhm.
understanding that, and then being able to provide support and
Yes. And
helping people process
normalizing.
through those feelings. Yeah, like it's just it we've never experienced anything like this. We said that
Yeah.
in our last taping, and I think
Mhm.
that we will remember this forever as
Oh yes.
professionals, even as just regular human, our day-to-day
Mhm.
lives. Just as a professional, we will remember the kind of work we had to do during
Mhm.
this time.
And what we will have to do, because this, some people, and we may not have thought about it initially, that this was a trauma,
Mm,
but this is a trauma,
mm,
at which, so we need to expect trauma responses
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
being able to provide more trauma informed care around pandemic symptoms, pandemic fears, pandemic anxiety, pandemic depression,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and seeing more people, like, because I think so, some individuals that they may have had some OCD, some obsessive compulsive behaviors prior to the pandemic and COVID,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you see them heighten. So now, how's that going to play out when they have to go back to work
Exactly.
and having to, because I talk to individuals, I hear individuals say, their routine of when they go to the grocery store or
Mm-hmm.
what they do to come back into their home. Now, if you have to go to work and be around your coworkers that you don't know, in
Mm-hmm.
some cases, what they've been doing, have they been practicing social distancing? Then the other fact is, did you lose coworkers that you didn't know about?
Yeah. There's a lot of things to
Yeah,
take into consideration.
yeah, and
And I
the
think
loss
that
of jobs.
a loss of jobs, income, all of those things.
Yeah.
And I think the side of it that has been really eye-opening to me,
Hmm.
I've been really trying to explain to a lot of family and friends, is
Hmm.
that, well, just as nervous as some people are, there are some people who are not, right? And
Yeah.
so being respectful of their viewpoint, right?
Yes.
Some
Hmm.
people are like, we got to get out there, we got to live, right? Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just because your social circle might
Hmm.
have these same ideas and beliefs around social distancing
Yeah.
and the
Everybody
pandemic,
doesn't.
everyone does not.
Yeah.
And so being super aware of that as
Hmm.
well, and being like, so if this is your boundary, that might not be your coworker. That might not have been your
Boundary. Yeah.
coworker's boundary during that time, right?
Hmm.
But you can't be like, well, get out, badgering that person because
Yeah.
of their belief system or what they thought, right?
Hmm.
You respect that, but you have to stick with your boundaries and where you are with
Yes.
regard to your health and your family's
Hmm.
health. But I think that's going to be really hard to measure at work, right? Because
Right.
what had to you go so and so during that whole 2 months, what were you doing and where were
Right.
you hanging, like those are conversations you just
Where were you
might
hanging
have
out?
exactly
Who
you might not
who
be
were you
having
hanging out with, and how many people were in your house?
I mean, we see at these Capitol buildings, there are just not people who, agree
Great. No.
with the safer at home and that,
No.
people who were ready to get back out there. I mean, I literally saw like one footage of a lady. She was like, we got to get back out there. I'm sorry to say this. It's sad to say, but some people are just going to have to get it. So we just got to get out there and go. I was like,
oh, okay.
I mean,
and then it's when you say, okay, you going out there, have fun.
Go those waters.
Because even for me, like going to the grocery store, I'm sometimes like, I'm like, you don't have a mask on?
Yeah, that's my choice. I am choosing a mask today, right?
Right. But I'm like,
everyone's not.
Not everybody's doing it. And I'm like, so you don't have a mask on?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, okay. And then in my mind, I'm like, please don't cough or sneeze while I'm walking through here.
Please don't. And leave that air, those air follicles there. I don't need that, right?
Right, because I don't know what's in the air.
I don't. And then we were like, but I have, clients who are like, I'm nervous about going back, but I want to go back because I miss the interaction, being around people, or how we saw the rise or increase in domestic violence and child abuse cases.
They needing to get out.
Kids who weren't able to eat because they relied on those school lunches, right? So it's just those difficult things. And so I hear people when they're saying they want to get back out there. I hear them. I just wish we had all the things in place to do it safely. Right. In my opinion, y'all know we always say
our opinion. These are our opinions.
Exactly. And so, because my children and I and family members and friends, right? We all have to socialize with people who maybe didn't see things the way we did. And so it's going to be difficult to measure safety. It just really is. And that's the part, probably even I as a professional, I'm like biting my nails over, like, what do I do?
And what is that going to look like for us as mental health professionals? Because I've had some conversations because, as we know, I work with counselors. I work with a lot of counselors. And the conversation has come up. It's like, how are you going to transition back to your office space? Are you going to see clients with a mask on? Some are like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I'm like, well, and I tell them, you have to measure your own safety and what's safe for you. So is it, not scheduling back to back, putting time in between where there's only one client, if a client is in the waiting room, only one client waiting for you at a time. And then, doing your cleaning in between, distancing yourself on how far you sit from your, your client. That, those are things that you have to take into consideration. Are you going to do half and half? Are you still, if possible, still going to offer the tele mental health services as compared to face-to-face?
Exactly. It's up to you. And I think that's a huge decision. And so, I think during this month, we get the joy of talking about all of that and, helping people process through all of that. Now, we'll be doing it all year long, but this is really the month that you will see us like pushing it out on social media and really talking about it, because it is, I think in our, like last time we talked, I was saying, I have friends who are trying to, give the disclaimer, like, I'm really grateful to still have my job, because I know there's people who don't, but I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling, like, well, you don't have to give me a disclaimer and minimize what you're feeling. If you're feeling right. You're feeling
because they're your feelings. Yes.
And that's okay. And because you need to be saying them to somebody instead of just keeping them to yourself. So we encourage everybody with that same word, right? Find outlets to say what you're feeling. Because if you don't, you are suppressing that, and that can end up really bad. We've seen it. We know.
And that really increases some mental health symptoms, like the more sadness, because if you're keeping it in and internalizing it, that could lead to more depressive symptoms, or it can lead to more anxiety. Because it depends on what side, what side of the, I can lead to both, what side of the spectrum you're on.
Exactly. So with that, Dr. Dangerfield, let me clear up my throat for this little piece.
This means she's about to say something or ask me a question.
What do you think about the church? Because here we are, right? There are many churches that did not, were taking governors to court over the
Mm-hmm.
closing of churches.
Yeah.
And I feel like we talked a little bit about the church component last time, but here we are as things are starting to open back up. Before they were closed and we were kind of pro-closed. I believe we're on the same page with that one, right?
Yep.
So now it is this season where things are starting, as states are coming with phases, the church is included in that. And so now is the time that churches will start opening back up and congregants will start to flood back into those church homes. And they have been waiting for a spiritual breakthrough where they go in a temple. Let me not even say just church, temple, church, whatever.
All the different
synagogue,
places.
wherever you're going, these are places that hold more than, some churches might have got 50 people in it, but more
than 10 people, more than 50 people.
Exactly. And so what is your thoughts about this as ministers and pastors and, everybody part of the whole trustee board, the deacons, everybody a part of the process of it coming back together. So what are your thoughts on that, Dr. Dangerfield?
As we always say, these are our opinions.
You got to start with that, right?
These are our opinions. Okay. So my opinion is for each member to make the decision on what's best for them. And if streaming is what's working for you right now, continue to stream on.
Okay.
Because we had, I have to tell you, in my household, it's my mom, my sister, and I, and we've had this conversation.
Okay.
And we were having it one Sunday as we were watching service, and my mom says, well, when we going back to church? I said, and she was talking about church as a whole. I said, December. She said, also, Bishop said we're not going back to church in December. I said, I don't know what Bishop said. I just know it's for me in my house. We're not going back to church in December. I said, then we testing that to see how things go. Like if they go back in July, we're going to check to see how that goes for the few months. Because especially when I go to a mega church, we sit closer than 6 feet. And they try to fit as many people on those pews as possible.
They do.
So, wisdom.
As for you and your house.
Yes, as for me and my house. We probably looking at December. So, we may not be in the place when the spirit fall. It'll have to fall at our house.
Gotcha.
Unless God's like, girl, go to church. But we each, I'm gonna use wisdom.
Yeah, this is that age-old battle, right? What I was watching the news, which is kind of what triggers for me.
Faith over fear.
Faith over fear, and like if it's my time, it's my time, and like it is, which we are the church, but that's my opinion, but whatever.
We got to church whether I'm inside the walls or.
Right. And so it's just this idea. And then just in New York, the mayor got in trouble because it was a Jewish parade or some event. And I guess he called them out, and the language or the way in which he did it caused a big chaos. He had to get on and apologize. It was just a big thing because faith, people of faith believe that should not, church and state, two separate things.
Yeah, because those are the two arguments.
Exactly. And so there is this thing that you can't tell me that I cannot go to my place of worship, that I cannot, go through my practices of my religion or my belief system. And so that is a very, tricky place. I feel like that is an anxiety that people could be experiencing as well, because for some, that going to church on Sunday is ritual. It is, part of a life. It is the socialization that people
get. That's what they get.
All of those things. And so there is a desire to be in the walls of the church. There just truly is. And how, you advise people to use their own,
their own wisdom,
their decision making, you know, their process for that. We don't have the answer for that, but it's going to be very interesting.
It is to
when that
see how
time comes,
how it transitions back, especially for your larger churches where you have 25,000 members on any given Sunday, and it's like, how do you keep people safe, but also allow people to come back in?
And if you're a minister and you find out one of your congregants has COVID-19, do you tell the church?
That's a whole. That's
on this mental health month one. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know how I get. That's
a good because I was even thinking about some places of employment that, you know, they find out that employees have had COVID. Do they let the other employees know?
So my sister works in HR.
Okay.
I do have an answer for this one.
Okay.
But for her company, so if you and I worked in whatever department and we worked in this particular area, maybe it's 10 of us in this area, they tell all 10, you have to inform those people.
Okay.
But I don't know if you're required to tell like the whole company or how that goes, but if they came in contact with some people, you have to inform them. Like almost like that HIV thing, right? Like you have to let people know.
So that does make for the question of, as a church, well, I guess early on, before, when you were meeting, and if you found out maybe that was something that would have been public knowledge or told. But now, since everybody's supposed, you know, well, I'm not saying all churches have gone to virtual, but if you've been in virtual services, you weren't exposed at church.
Right. And I mean, I think to myself, like ministers have to, they are human. Right? So what kind of anxiety and what feelings are they having about what to do when it comes to that? I mean, we think about CEOs and business.
Oh, yeah. Ministers. Well, because ministers are actually, they're business owners. Yeah, they're CEO. Even though we don't like to say that the church is a business, it is. It's an organization. It's an organism because it has to function in certain ways. And having to function in that mindset of being able, what do I share? What do I not share? How do I make decisions that's going to impact people's lives? And then the other thing when it comes to talking about ministers is like when their identity has been tied up in every Sunday preaching a sermon in front of people, and now having to do it differently.
Without an amen or without a I hear you or any callback thing that happens at services that I don't know.
We know in the Black church, they love that callback. Preach, preacher. You know, you can get it when you're doing it through Facebook Live, but he preaching, so he can't read his message.
He can't read his little parts in his comments
until after it's over.
You missed that. So it's gonna. I mean, I think we don't consider what they are also processing and going through.
This is different from them,
right? And like you said, at our church, our pastor is, his decision impacts thousands, tens of thousands of people.
Not just us in our local congregation, but he has a far reach across the board. Exactly. And so having to make that decision not only for us, but for the whole organization of Full Gospel, of him setting a precedent. Yeah. And so
that's interesting. As I was watching the news,
keep it prayed up.
I was thinking about that. I was like, man, this is going to be interesting. I didn't even think of the scope of the church, which is definitely, I've been thinking restaurants and stores and, the church is a huge piece of that. Or like any religious institution is a really big part of that.
Because that's the bedrock of communities.
That's a very good word.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see that. And like me and Dr. Dangerfield have really been talking about the importance of reaching out. And so we want to be a part of that. So we were saying, if you have any questions, concerns, issues, if there is, you're somewhere and you don't know how to get in touch with a therapist, you don't know how to get in touch with a mental health professional. We were even laughing. The both of us had a client say to me, a new client, that Psychology Today was overwhelming. So while there are resources, we totally understand how hard it can be to find
to find your mate, your therapist mate.
Exactly, because just like that, it's a very intimate relationship. Yeah. So please, DM us, put something in the comment section, let us know. We will do our due diligence to connect you with someone or send you on the right journey or path
to find a place to connect that's not as overwhelming as Psychology Today.
Exactly. And I think Dr. Dangerfield was telling me there's some reciprocity even happening with telehealth as well.
Yes, because states are allowing mental health therapists to be able to sign up to do telehealth in their state. So maybe someone that doesn't live here in, like where we're in Tennessee, somebody that lives in Tennessee may be also licensed to do it in New York, New Jersey, Florida, Georgia. So some of our peers, we may know people personally.
So we're really trying to encourage you, give you that nudge. You've been thinking about it, you've been feeling a certain kind of way, but you haven't made that move. We are here today to encourage you to do it. The time is now. Do not sit in that so long that you feel that you, in that despair and that worry and that fear, that you become stagnant or can't move and think there is help. There is so much help out there. So we really are plugging you to do it.
Yep, we want you to.
We want you to. The other plug I wanted to make that we have not talked about, but it will probably be coming in one of our next ones, is the advocacy we want to see from our mental health providers too, that we can get out there and help more people. So this is May. We're going to talk about that a little bit more too, because we want there to be so many resources out there. And now that I think we talked about this before, we are seeing the importance of our field. During this time, I think we always knew, right?
But now the world is finding out that the work we do is like your mental health is. This is like my opinion. Your mental health is more important than your physical health. Some people may not, because if your mental health is not straight, your physical health goes. I
haven't seen it too many. I've seen functioning depressed people, but I haven't seen true depressed people getting up to go do a jog. Like I just haven't. So you have to be there first, right? Top down, and then before you can do other things. And so the exciting thing is that the government want to hear from us more, and so I'm going to push that in our next things.
And the government is actually looking at being able to connect with more mental health service providers. It's coming down the pipe.
Yes, that's great. And so we're telling you, there is help, there is help, there is help. So please reach out. Don't sit in this alone. There is help. And if you need for us to be, what is that? A bridge?
A bridge, yes.
Please let us know. You can always find Dr. Dangerfield on social media. Where can they find you, Dr. Dangerfield?
On Instagram at I am Dr. Dangerfield.
You can find me on Instagram at I am Dr. Patience, and they can find us both where?
On Instagram at I am Brown Girl Banter, or on Facebook, Professional Brown Girls.
You all know, you already know, we're not going to talk about it. And so we want you to please reach out. You'll be seeing us posting a lot about mental health this month and the importance of it. So please make sure you're checking out our pages and, get caught up. Get caught up on Brown Girl Banter. You will not be disappointed. We can tell you that. You can find us on YouTube at Brown Girl Banter. Brown Girl, one word, put them together. Brown Girl and Banter. Please, please, please follow us, like us, share us, all of that. And please, promote what we're doing here, because we never know who you can help by doing that. So we're relying on you, Brown Girl Banter. Possibly.
Yes. To share the word.
Share the word. Take care of yourselves.
Yep.
We are excited that we got an opportunity to connect with you. As you know, we'll always say, we trying with our technology.
Yeah. We think we keep trying to figure something out. Because when Dr. Patience and I figured out that technology is not our lane.
It's not.
So, the more we experiment, we find
better again.
So you'll see more of us.
You'll see more of us. Yeah. You all take care. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes.
Bye, Brown Girl Baker.